what has helped you guys find freedom? Like, what are some of the websites, the professional help, the books? Like, what are some of the tools that we can leave people with in order for them to, while they're in this situation, for however long we're in this situation, actually start making those amendments to life, like actually start turning their gaze more towards the Lord and the union and communion that He has designed us for, versus like this feeling of loneliness and isolation that we were talking about earlier. Like, what are some of those tools that you guys would suggest that are anybody who's been watching or anybody who can help somebody with kind of point them to?
For me, sorry, Kiki, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna kind of echo Bobby, like, with confession. You got to go there. But also, again, if you're confessing it over and over and over, nothing's changing, you're not going to the root.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to the root of it. So you find maybe a spiritual director, or if you have a confessor, just really real honesty, just being real honest with whoever it is you're talking to will help kind of dig it out, really to find out what's really going on, because that's just a symptom of something that's deeper, right? The second thing is limit access, because limit your access to it, to anything that's going to tempt you to go there. Some of the things that we use here in my household is Covenant Eyes. It's installed on computers. It's installed on every mobile device. There's a filtering application for it, and also there's accountability. So I've got 3 other guys that know what websites I visit. They get a report of it to see if anything questionable has come up. So there's filtering, accountability, and I think they added a new feature. It takes screenshots of what you're looking at on your screen.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like another level of accountability. Right. So limit your access and have accountability. We use, Covenant Eyes is what we use here, but also for me, like having a group of guys that really hold you accountable, that you can be really honest with and say, hey, I need help, or hey, you need help. Just a real camaraderie, a real brotherhood that will help you, walk with you and call you out if you need to be, in love, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that last part, right, is really important, that there's no truth without love. Both of them have to go hand in hand. And so I think for me, something that happened in SLS, I actually met this awesome woman. Her name's Kelsey Scotch. I hope I'm not butchering her name.
Yep, that's how you say it.
Yep. As I approached her at SLS, I asked her, what is this book about? And I couldn't get the words out because there was a male friend around me, and I felt that like embarrassment. She's like, it's about porn and masturbation in regards to women. And I'm like, yeah, like bam. So I bought the book. And it's been so life-changing to hear this woman's story and have it be more of a normalized conversation amongst women, right? Directed to healing us. It's all about healing. And so I recommend my gal friend to buy that book. I also have a recommendation as to an Instagram account. My friend Belle Bryant thought of this genius idea of creating a communal platform on Instagram. Really just like hones in on people that have been sexual abuse survivors and people that, especially women, this is mostly for women, I believe, experience that struggle with pornography. And so now you have somewhere to go to. So that's amazing. And lastly, I think—
What is that?
Restore Love. So I didn't even mention the name. Restore Love at Instagram. And then lastly, I just want to mention like good old fashioned fasting, honestly. Dominion of self. Denying yourself, it gives you that strength of will in choosing the good. So it's helped me a lot. I'm not always perfect at it, But I welcome everybody who's watching to take that on again. The church has always advised us to do that. Also because we need to make amends for our sins. So always a great thing to do.
Yeah. Kiki, one other thing I want to ask you, because of your history of abuse, like what were some of the professional things that you needed to do to kind of overcome even some of the trauma? Like, 'cause I think some of that even feeds into like, what do you suggest for people who maybe are addicted, or some of the things that they may need to do as far as seeking not just the help of the church, okay? Because I think it's important, and I think it's important to have accountability. It's important to have those relationships. It's important to have like, covenant eyes on your computer. But like, what were some things that you professionally had to get help with? Like, what were some suggestions for you for that?
Yeah, and you're right. The Lord gives us supernatural grace and supernatural things like the Eucharist and confession and all the beautiful sacraments. Then He also puts natural people in our life, like therapists and psychologists and groups, like healing groups or retreats. And so for me, what really helped me was EMDR therapy. It's too long of a description to like say here, but Google EMDR therapy and find a therapist that does it. It was very, very healing for me. It worked with my brain and again, those neural pathways that were formed during the trauma to unwire them and
right?
Say that one more time.
EMDR is also used a lot for PTSD and things like that.
Absolutely, it's so closely tied together. This experience with trauma. So there was that, and then lastly, there was a retreat that I went to. I am forgetting the name right now, but I'll put it in the comments right after this. A retreat for sexual abuse survivors that took place in Phoenix, Arizona, and it just gave me the healing space to come out of myself and to envision my abuser in front of me, my perpetrator, and just let everything go, and give it to God. And it was so good because I didn't know that there was this anger welling up inside me until I felt that there was this space where it can come out and be received by the Lord.
What about for you, Bobby? Any tips or any websites or any books or anything that you would suggest for people?
Yeah, anything by Matt Fradd on the topic, everyone's favorite Australian.
Why have you not brought him up yet already? Come on.
Because it's like, as we all know, because he's always in the background. He's doing it better than everyone. But anything by Matt Fradd, any of his books, a lot of free videos out there you can go watch on him, just to get educated from a religious and a non-religious perspective of why pornography is problematic and not good for the culture here. The wisdom of AA is step one is admitting that you have no control over this. And so if anything you've been watching has really pierced through the heart, is cut to the heart, and you don't have a group of people checking in on you, ask for God to give you the courage, ask the Holy Spirit for that boldness to say, like, help me to call my friend right now, or go to a family member, or like get this out into the light so that I can be free, because you can be free. For me, it was a moment of grace in the seminary where I realized I don't want to carry this thing anymore. If I'm going to be a priest of God, and even if I'm going to be married one day, I'm done. And Covenant Eyes, I just became aware of it, and I had a moment of like, is my chastity worth $9 a month? Like, is my future vocation worth $9 a month for this internet monitoring? And I went to my friend Julio, who's now Father Julio, and knocked on the door of his dorm room. And I'm like a stoic Ron Swanson type, and he's super extroverted guy from the Dominican Republic. And I said, Julio, I need you to be my accountability partner. He's like, brother, I will die for you. Like, you don't need to die, just get the report. And to this day, this priest gets my weekly accountability report. And that for me has been huge. Has been enough here. We need community, as Francis said, like, you need like in-person, ideally in-person community, guys or girls you can connect with face-to-face, like once a week, just like, how you doing? It's a good week, it's a bad week. We have a group that we've established at the high school, which is, again, I was working with a guy one-on-one. He said, is there anything we can do to open this up for more guys? And so about 5 years ago, we established Wednesdays at lunch. We meet in this one teacher's classroom. We call it Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. So you've got built-in accountability. It was a better name, we thought, than the porn club. We thought we would get the wrong guys if we call it that. But like, to this day,
maybe the right guys.
Well, yeah. They'd be like, hey, good, you're staying here. going 5 years at least, and we get anywhere between 5 and 25 students that will come in, and just
That's awesome.
again, quick prayer, check in, how you doing, good week, bad week, and so guys they get to see each other, to know that I am not a horrible man for doing this. I am not so a shameful human being because of this. Like, oh, he's struggling too. He's an all-star. He's a student government. He's an athlete. Like, the grace of that, and guys being like, guys who've lost hope, to be like, yeah, I'm a month clean. I'm 2 months clean. I'm 6 months clean. I got a freak of nature who's like a year and a half. And to see like the other guys, when he's like a hero, he gets to carry like the hammer of Thor in their eyes here. Like, we need friendship and humor. Take the sin seriously, but yourself not so much. That has helped me so much. And again, Fight the New Drug. There's a lot of good resources.
So good.
But one book that really got like deeper is this book called Unwanted by Jay Stringer. He's a Christian psychologist. Amazing read, because it really gets to like, we're not just called to sin management for the rest of our lives. We're called to like, how do I unroot this thing? How do I identify when did it first pierce me? When did it first like, get into my body? Like, what habits am I repeating? So that book, Unwanted, opened my eyes a whole lot more, and really has bled over into some of my ministry to really like listen to like, what is this dysfunction trying to tell me? Why am I seeking it out? What are the patterns, etc.? Because freedom absolutely is possible.
So beautiful. I agree with everything. I love that you mentioned like the 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half. Like,
it's a day at a time.
It's so huge, but like, it's so cool. Like I have the Victory app from Life Teen, and one of the Paul mentioned it in our chat as well. Like that's a great app because it actually tells you how long you've been able to go, and it actually helps you figure out those triggers. And I love that app. And what I love about it is that accountability piece is also built into it. So like, you have accountability partners, and like, if you need prayer one night, say like you're just really tempted, you press something, and I get like an alert on my phone saying to pray for somebody. I'm like, all right. I just stop and I just start praying. And I'm a really light sleeper, so it usually wakes me up. But it's all good. It's all good. If I'm being woken up to pray, I'm happy about it. So, but I love the accountability partner. It's so good.
Yeah, and to tie some of that together, Sarah Swafford from Kansas shares the story of, she knows a group of college guys that, Kiki said, fasting. They're in like a group chat. And if a guy is really feeling tempted, he'll text the group and be like, guys, I'm really tempted. And they will stop what they're doing and fast for 24 hours for that guy.
That's so cool.
So that you want to take it to the next level of like, we're gonna fight for each other. This is not just a casual sin that to be taken lightly, like through the grace of the Holy Spirit and fasting. So ask the Lord, like, where are you calling me to step it up? Where are you calling me to be a leader here in this fight?
One of the things that some friends of mine did, we did Exodus 90, and
that 90 for girls too. Yeah.
It's not explicitly targeting pornography. It's just being addicted to devices, to other things other than being focused on what God's will is for you. But before this whole thing went down in January or so, maybe December, one of our students came in and was in tears, feeling defeated. It's like, Mr. C, I've got a problem. And he just like talked about his pornography habits and just felt defeated. And I was telling him like, hey, you can't do it with me because I'm an adult, you're a minor, but I'm doing this thing with these guys, but maybe it's, you could find a couple of guys to do it with you. And he did. Awesome. And they did Exodus 90, and they found a group of other young men at the school. And then, just checking in with them. How's it going? It's great, this and that. And then they're like, hey, we're doing day 91. And so they're excited about it. And they've gained a lot of freedom because Exodus 90 it talks about, it helps you find fraternity, brotherhood. It throws you into prayer.
Totally.
Taking accountability.
A whole bunch of cool stuff.
Asceticism. One of the books that really helped me was cold showers.
I stopped reading when I read Cold Showers.
The first year we did it, we invited Bobby he ghosted us on the text thread. He didn't even respond.
The Lord was not calling me to take cold showers. He said, "I love you too much. You're fine."
Well, one of the books that helped me and just really spoke to me as a man was John Eldridge's book, Wild at Heart.
And
it really helped me
today, my friend.
I know it's so good. It's so good to just read that and to kind of allow God to take hold of my masculine heart, you know.